Hello and welcome. Oh, welcome back to the stream. Hey, Johnny, you summoned the Hyperboy. Yeah, I'm sure he's on his way. I don't know. I am having a shitty day just reading about that childcare worker in Melbourne. It made me really upset. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, so I will talk about that later. Just because I want everybody to see what these freaking creeps look like, in case you are in the western suburbs of Melbourne and you might accidentally run into them, and you might accidentally trip over, and your fist might accidentally, make contact with them. I don't know. That's happened before. Stranger things have happened, so yeah. All right, well, after saying that, let's do the Spelly Bee. Good times. Oh, what do we have today? We have to use the letter L, and our other letters are U, T, V, M, E, I. Learn me. Nah. You're playing some Minecraft while watching? That sounds nice. Lol. No. I don't know. I'm so lost. I can't even think of anything. Vault? Like pole vault? Is that a word? Nope. Multi-pass. Can we have multi-pass? Not a word. Oh, it's not on screen. Freaking hell, I do this every single time. My brain is great. La la. Lurby. Level. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Multi-level. Multi-level. Yay, we got multi-level. Illumi. You were alt-tabbed? Background music? Okay, I'll do the background music. Look, if I remember to put up the screen, I think that's pretty impressive. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I will, you know, I'll work it out one day. We'll know it's the end of the world where I can stream without making any mistakes. Then we'll know the time has come. How was my day off? I just slept. Yeah, I just went to bed early. It's fucking freezing in Melbourne, so I was just like, oh god. Just let me sleep. OT. Multi-ulti? Is multi-ulti a word? Multi. Alt. Multivitamin? No, there's no A. Multivitamin would have been so good. God damn it. That cyclone bomb or whatever certainly chilled things down. Yeah, I like how they're just making multi-mullet. Ooh, let's have multi-mullet. I like it. Oh, there we go. Yay. Heck. Yeah, I'm not usually a massive pussy about the cold, but this winter I've just been like, please. Enough. Glaswegian or Edinburgh? Well, they're both in Scotland. Maybe Scott? We'll try that. 2025 Pixar film about a boy who gets abducted by aliens. I don't know, it sounds good though. Strong string. Don't know. Religious devotee with a shaved head, maybe. A monk? Calligrapher's assortment. I don't know, I guess I've got a lot of pens, I would assume, but I don't know if that's the answer. Attach as a button. Don't know. Sound of two glasses being cheaters. Oh, chink. Oh, am I allowed to? I feel like that's a slur, right? I feel like that's not okay to say. But the crossword made me say it, so. Noises from a pig. Oink. Yeah, it's definitely a slur, but it said the noises that that two glasses being cheersed makes, and that they you know you chink your glasses together. But yeah, I feel so uncomfortable saying that word. Okay, calligrapher's assortment must be inks, because it fits. And then strong string. Pixar film about a boy who gets abducted by aliens. The crossword did make me say it. Yeah, I'm surprised they let it through, honestly. But I think the people that work at the New York Times are a little bit, you know, probably like to say those words in their spare time. If you, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, let's just say. Did I overshare? TMI? That's me on this stream. Ooh, can I not do that, please? Thank you. TMI. Attach as a button. Sew on, maybe? Okay, so then what could this be? Strong string. What's 6 down? Did I overshare? Oh, that's 4 down. This is TMI. I added the wrong one. Yeah, I know. I made a mistake. Leave me alone. Four down, little piggy. Twine? All right. A strong string is twine. All right, so we got to work out little piggy. 4 letters. Starts with a T, ends with an E. Do we have anything? Little toe. Oh, you're a genius. Close, but not quite. All right. What is wrong? Oh, clink. Wow, it wasn't a racial slur. I was the one. The racial slur was the friends I made along the way the whole time. It never occurred to me that clink was a word. My brain automatically went to chink. Oh no. To be fair, clink is still a slur. Yeah, like a lot of words are slurs. It's like you have to be really, really careful. Like I remember a friend of mine was doing a youth work job and she called like an ottoman like a foot poof. She was like, oh, like just put your feet up on the poof, and she got in trouble because obviously that's a slur, but like she didn't mean it like that. But yeah, just everyone be careful out there, guys. It's people don't care if like you had intent. They just, if they want to spin, they, you know, just yeah. It's better not to give anyone any ammunition, even if you're not doing it. Yeah, or if like if somebody's wearing like a poofy skirt, like you're like, oh, it's so poofy. Oh, my hair's so poofy today. You have to make sure you pronounce it poofy and not poofy. Otherwise, that's when you get in trouble, I think. I don't know. Oh, no. I don't even want to talk about this subject anymore because I feel like whatever I say, it's just, it could be misconstrued, and I just feel, I feel scared. I feel vulnerable. I feel, yeah, not great. All right, So we have to do our groupings, our word groupings. We have contact, number, exchange, insurance, arrival, college, market, position, almanac, flight, dealings, team, gate, 10, destination, interaction. All right, we're gonna have gate, arrival, flight, destination, all things to do with flying. Do you reckon I should do that, or do you reckon it's tricking me and it's too obvious? All right, let's just try it. I'm scared. I got one! Yay! All right, an almanac is like a thing that a farmer uses, or that like the witchy girls, the witchcraft girls use for, like, I don't know, the moon's doing this, the weather's doing this. Okay. Ooh. We could have exchange. We could have market. Position? I don't know. I'm thinking like a stock exchange kind of thing. I'm not sure. Let's do a shuffle. Market, position, exchange. Sports almanac dealings. Dealings. Insurance. No, dealings. Exchange. Market. Position. Maybe that's like a stock exchange thing. Nope, it is not. All right, well, I don't know. Okay, college, number, team, position. That's like a sports thing, right? Let's try that. Yep, that was university sport. All right, now we've only got two things to do. Sports, guys. We did it. I still think one of these is like stock markety. I just don't know enough about that stuff because I'm too povo to know. And unless this streaming thing takes off, I'm never going to know about stocks and such. So we'll see. Oh gosh. Boop, boop, boop. Almanac, 10, market. I don't know. I think this might have something to do with farming because farmers have 10s typically because, well, all the ones I know have 10s. They sell their stuff at market. They maybe use an almanac. I think that's what it's called. I think it's like that book that tells you about like the phases of the moon and this time of season and yada yada yada. I think that's what it's called. Do you think it would be insurance? Hyperbovian, you're really good at this. So you seem to have, do you feel like I'm going down a path that seems, do you reckon it's insurance or dealings? I mean, I guess farmers have to have insurance, right? I don't know. You think it would be farm insurance for farmers? Okay, let's see. Farmers things! Yay! You did it, Hyperbovian. You helped me. Contact dealings, interaction, exchange. Correspondence. There you go. Yay! Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm just going to talk about these creeps in Melbourne just because I'm going to get it off my chest, even though it's ruined my mood forever. But at least I'm not one of these poor kids or their parents. So I guess being mildly upset for a few days is a lot better. All right, so we're just going to do a trigger warning because this stuff is actually the most disgusting stuff you can think of. Yeah.
Did something happen to my child by that time? And if so, what happened?
This is an incredibly distressing investigation.
Oh, in case people don't know, this creepy 26-year-old, I'm not even going to call him a man, because he's not even a person, 70 counts, including grapefruit of children under the age of 2, some as young as 5 months. 1,200 children in Victoria need to have STD testing for gonorrhea and chlamydia. Yeah, obviously I'm very upset, as is everybody else with a brain and or a heart. You don't need both, just one or the other to be upset about it. Yeah, I don't even have words. This is like, I have been on tilt all day. It's so upsetting.
And the information we are going to provide today is particularly confronting.
This man has been accused of abusing several children at a childcare centre in Melbourne. Joshua Brown has been charged with more than...
Just look at this creep, okay? Just in case. I'm not saying anyone should do anything to him, but just be aware, because I don't know if he's going to be out on bail or whatever. Just yeah, just stay away from him. Honestly, like, just, yeah, hopefully the law deals with it. I hope well, yeah, I'm a very small female, so like I wouldn't be able to beat him up anyway, even though he's obviously the type of piece of poo that can only hurt children, because he couldn't fight someone his own size or hurt someone his own size because he's pathetic little. And I'm not saying anything, but remember when Jonah from Tonga said rangers have no soul? Well, once again, Jonah is proven nice. Is proven right, rather. Not nice. He's mean. But he is right. He is correct. Rangers have no soul. And if you ever apologize to a ranger on a National Apologize to a Ranger Day, you take that apology right back, because the other creep that's also been charged is also, guess what, a ranger. So I'm not saying, like, if any of my... You're a ranger and you have no soul. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're the exception that proves the rule, Joey. I'm sure you're the exception that proves the rule. It's okay. You can have a soul. You can be, I endow you with a soul. I have that power. So there you go. You have a soul now, so you're all good. Well, if you care, you have a soul, like, obviously. I'm half joking. I'm just, yeah.
70 alleged offences relating to the abuse of 8 children. Police say the alleged victims were between 5 months and 2 years old.
What police are saying, they discovered child abuse material. We don't know yet how or why, and police have been really reluctant to release that information because the investigation is ongoing. But he also worked at 20 childcare centres from January 2017, so it is a major investigation.
you need to know what the video is about. So someone in the western suburbs of Melbourne, a 26-year-old man, yesterday actually, he was charged with 70 counts of child abuse, including grapefruit of children, some as young as 5 months old. And yeah, it's just really horrific. 1,200 infants in Victoria need to be tested for STIs, chlamydia and gonorrhea specifically, apparently. We don't know how many children this monster has hurt. So yeah, he worked with them. He was a childcare worker. It's absolutely horrific. So yeah, I had a cry about it today. I was heaps upset. And I was like, well, I'll just talk about it and get it off my chest. Yeah, I can't imagine having a child at one of those, because these are kids that aren't verbal yet. They're so young, they can't communicate, to their parents or whatever if someone's hurting them. So, yeah, obviously, well, he's obviously somebody that's into kids, number one, but going for the kids that young, that, definitely can't tell anyone because they literally are too young to know how to talk, is so, yeah, absolutely heinous. I hope he goes to jail for a very long time. And yeah, I hope all the families involved are getting a lot of support. I hope the government's providing that for them at
the moment.
As part of the investigation, authorities have recommended 1,200 children be screened for sexually transmitted infections. The parents of those children are terrified.
I feel sick, I really do, and I just need some sort of level of certainty to know that my son wasn't in the room, that he was.
Did something happen to my child? That question will haunt me for the rest of my life.
Parents are rightfully pretty angry. The Premier probably said it best when she said it was every parent's worst nightmare.
My heart just breaks for the families who are living every parent's worst nightmare.
They're frightened, their imaginations are going a little bit wild because their children are so young and they're so vulnerable, and they were put in a place where they were supposed to be safe. People were trying to work out what was going on, trying to get through to the hotline, get through to the childcare centres, and a lot of people actually found out about what had happened through the media. So I think it was quite a frightening time for parents, as you can imagine.
This was an unusual case in that Brown's identity is no longer a secret.
In this scenario, the police were actually the ones that applied for the suppression.
Yeah, Hyperbovian. I'm on the west, I'm on the western side of the Westgate Bridge. People were definitely really tense around here too. I did notice, because some of the childcare centres involved, they're not in my suburb, but they're in like adjacent suburbs to where I am. There's two of the daycares where this creep worked, because he was a casual worker, right? So I don't know if he was working for like a temp agency, but it looked like he's worked at 20 childcare centres since 2017, and by the sounds of it, he's recorded this stuff that he's done on his phone, and that's the stuff that's been found by the police. So those are the only counts we know about, but that doesn't mean that he hasn't done this to a lot more children, right? Like, this is yeah, and it just goes to show a lack of regulation and a lack of oversight in the childcare sector. Obviously a lot of money has, been invested in the childcare sector. There's been a lot of government money up for grabs, and unfortunately a lot of these childcare centres have popped up overnight and not necessarily being run by people that have experience running childcare centres, right? Or experience recruiting people that are appropriate for this work. A lot of them don't even have qualifications directly related to, child development and early childhood learning, things like that. So it's yeah, look, I think there should be cameras everywhere. There should be, if you work with children, you should be under CCTV all the time. It should be streamed. The CCTV footage should be streamed to a third-party location where you are being, sorry, but we can't risk it. If you hurt a child you know, you affect that child for the rest of their life. And it's just, yeah. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm really upset. I find it hard to articulate well when I'm, yeah, it's just, what do you say? I just hope those poor little babies are okay. And, yeah, I just hope that, you know, they get all the help and support, that they need. And, yeah, just hoping the poor little kids are okay. It's awful.
Order and then applied for it to be lifted. Joshua Brown did not apply to suppress his own.
So this is the guy just putting his stupid, punchable, smug, stupid face out there. I hope that he is put in Gen Pop if he goes to jail. Sorry, but even criminals have some morals. Let them deal with him because yeah. If he could do that to a child, then I'm sorry, but throw him to the wolves. I have no sympathy. Freaking wipe that stupid smile off his fucking head.
Identity, but it's been lifted, and not only lifted, police have released the name and you know, a lot of information about him, which is really, really unusual in this case, but it is because of this public health response and because of how many children potentially have been exposed to this man.
This is
Well, yeah, there was a mother. I saw a story today as well. There was a mother who realized that this guy had been working at her daughter's childcare, but her daughter only attended the childcare for 2 months. And it wasn't the 2 months that the police had said that he was working there. And she was like, hang on, your dates aren't right. So if they've gotten his dates of employment for one site wrong, the chances are that he's worked at even more daycares and there's all this time that's unaccounted for that he's been working. Like, you're very opposite with privacy versus surveillance. At home, privacy is max, but the moment you step into public, you should always be on camera. Well, I think if you're working with the elderly or you're working with children and you're working with people that are, you know, in some way infirmed and, you know, aren't able to tell people if they're being hurt, I think you should be on camera. Look, like, I'm a social worker. I have no problem being on camera because I'm not doing anything wrong, right? I always do things by the book. I'm always super professional when I'm at work. When I'm on stream, not so much, but when I'm at work, I'm very professional. I have nothing to hide, so film me. I don't care. But yeah, in my own house, I want to be able to do what I want to do and say what I want to say. But at work, I have no issue with being filmed because I do work with some incredibly vulnerable people. And I do want everybody involved in the process to feel safe, and I don't mind having that oversight, and I don't mind being held, you know, accountable for my actions.
Unique. It's very important to ensure that every parent out there that has a child in childcare knows who he is and where he worked. This may be families who had a child at the centre where he worked, or even staff that worked alongside the person.
Politically, we can probably anticipate a few changes. Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen said they've undertaken a rapid review to improve regulation in the sector. And the Federal Education Minister, Jason Clare, said they were working to bring in legislation in Parliament in the next few months to cut off funding from any of the childcare centres that didn't reach required standards.
There is national reform work underway, but as the Premier said, it is frustratingly slow, and this is something we have expressed over the past months and weeks, and certainly something that I expressed last Friday. We need to see tangible outcomes sooner.
But also, lawyers have come out and said that this just highlights a very clear need for change.
Clearly, this should never have been allowed to happen. So we're really interested in understanding how this person had the opportunity to...
Just take a look at the face. Just take it in, guys. If you live in Melbourne, yeah, look, obviously I can't sit here and call for like mob justice and call for, you know, yada, yada, yada. But, yeah, everybody needs to know what this guy looks like. Obviously leave it, you know, leave it to the legal system to sort out. But yeah, just if you live in the western suburbs of Melbourne, just, you know, make sure if you've got kids, make sure you keep an eye on them, make sure you know where they are, because yeah, monsters like this are unfortunately everywhere. And this monster was allowed to work with babies, like actual like literal babies. He hurt literal babies, like yeah, absolutely freaking horrific. And he has a friend. They announced today, this is his friend. He's a very rotund friend. So this is another guy who wasn't working at the child center, but the cases are related somehow. So I'm assuming they shared material. They exchanged material because this guy in the middle here was involved. His charges also include bestiality. So this sick fuck here, he doesn't like just hurting children. He likes hurting everything that's vulnerable, including animals.
News on Melbourne's daycare abuse scandal, and there are fears tonight alleged predator Joshua Brown came in contact with more children than first thought. It comes as parents shed light on new horror stories, including a mother whose children were photographed naked, but the carer was never charged.
New sex abuse claims from a mother of two against a childcare centre.
I was angry, I was disgusted. I just seen red, like you know, that's my child. He's meant to be safe there. He's not meant to be taken advantage of, and that's what they did.
An inner city.
How far does this go? There needs to be an audit of every single MFR that is working at these places. I don't care. My right to privacy, The AFP is coming to your house and going through your hard drives, guys. I don't care if you got nothing. I don't care what you look at on Pornhub. I don't care if you're looking at, you know, adults doing things to each other, whatever you're into, you know, your hentai, whatever your creeps are into. That's like, whatever. I don't care. Be as freaky as you want out there, as long as it doesn't involve children and it involves consensual adults, that's fine. But if I Google some weird shit sometimes, I would be a little bit embarrassed if like the AFP came and looked at my hard drive. You know, that's nothing like freaky or whatever, but they would just be like, why were you Googling if like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something weird I Googled lately, but they might ask me a few questions about some of the because I just wake up in the middle of the night sometimes with like weird questions in my head, and I like grab my phone and I start Googling stuff. But yeah, look, if you work with children, I'm sorry, but like we obviously now know there's PDF files working at these places. Yeah, maybe you all need to have, maybe that should be part of your working with children checks, right? The AFP just rock up at your house, go through your hard drive. No child porn? Okay, you're free to go, sir.
The childcare centre informed her of an alleged child safety incident.
Their exact words were inappropriate naked photos.
She says the images were found on educators' work devices 3 weeks ago. The centre has stood down the staff involved during internal and Department of Education investigations.
Just waking up over night time, just telling someone, like, you know, don't touch me, don't touch me.
The family has filed a report with police, but the centre is not listed by authorities as an employer of recently charged suspect Joshua Brown. The mum wants urgent reforms.
Daycares are getting so desperate with educators, they're basically just bringing anyone in. You know, the safest place for my kids is at home.
And more details have emerged about 36-year-old accused rapist Michael Wilson, who police arrested in May and charged...
Oh, God. You can tell he smells. You can smell him. He smells like smegma. I know. Look at him. Ew.
Charged with raping a teenage boy and bestiality.
What the fuck?
Shock friends told 7 News Wilson's a divorced father of one, a former president of a suburban amateur radio club who's worked as a traffic controller, truck driver, machine operator and at a pizza shop, but not any childcare centres. This is Wilson's rented home in Hoppers Crossing. He moved in around 6 months ago and lived alone, but is now in custody. Neighbours say he was quiet and they had no idea why police were here 7 weeks ago. And it's understood the list of childcare centre dates for accused child sex offender Joshua Brown may be broadened, meaning more potential young victims. Paul Dowsley, 7 News.
The unfolding crisis across...
Yeah, one of them was married, Zach. Yeah, one of them was married. Hopefully the mother has custody of the child and little to do with the dad. It's just that guy has a bestiality charge as well. Like, what is wrong with some people? Jeez.
The sector has prompted a controversial call to ban men from certain areas inside childcare centres. The suggestion has been met with a swift backlash as politicians scramble to better protect our children.
Frustration in the search for answers parents may never get.
There's no silver bullet here. This work will never be done.
One abuse survivors advocate thinks there is a silver bullet, a ban on men in childcare bathrooms and sleeping quarters.
There's so many parents who are very, very uncomfortable with having male daycare workers around their children.
I think that's really extreme, and I think that it is really, really distressing. Children benefit from having positive male and female role models.
It's not something that I think that the Commonwealth is going to look at. I don't think this is about gender.
The overwhelming anger of parents is reflected on all sides of politics.
The implementation of those reforms has taken too bloody long.
The Education Minister conceding action by governments on child abuse.
Yeah, Joey, it is a bit of a knee-jerk reaction overreach to ban all men. But I think when stuff like this happens, people just get very, very fired up, you know, very hot under the collar. And people do start saying some very extreme stuff. I think especially like when you're a woman, like I don't have children, but I feel very protective of children. I don't know if men are the same way with like their paternal instincts, but I know my maternal instincts kick in. Like whenever I hear a kid crying, like my ears prick up, you know what I mean? Like I want to run over to like children that, like if a little kid's lost, you know, at the shopping centre, I will always be the first person to run over and like, you know, ask them if they're lost, take them to like the information centre, wait with them till their mum and dad get there. Like I just, you know, I think a lot of women, even if we aren't mothers, we have that in us where, yeah, I can't, look, I'm not agreeing with the lady that wants to ban all men from childcare, but I do understand where like that knee-jerk reaction, like that need to protect kids comes from, because I definitely like have that pretty strongly, like that instinct pretty strongly in myself, so I can kind of relate. Even if I don't agree with her, I can kind of understand where she's coming from.
Abuse Royal Commission reforms has fallen short as 1,200 children await test results for sexually transmitted infectious diseases.
The families of these kids aren't interested in excuses.
A statewide review will be handed to the Allen government in mid-August, but it's too little too late, according to the state opposition. They want Parliament recalled now to rush through urgent reforms.
Yeah, Zach, I think a lot of people just have, you know, paternal or maternal instincts. I think, like, if you don't want to protect kids, it's probably, people that don't have that are probably the odd ones out, honestly. I think most of us have that inbuilt.
We can act on the CCTV today.
People can get a working with children check even if they're under active police investigation for crimes relating to children. That's nonsense. It should be fixed today.
Child sexual abuse can happen in seconds, and then it's just too late.
And state political reporter Rochelle Brown is at Spring Street this evening. Rochelle, you have new details on the review ordered by the Allen government.
Well, Mitch, the Premier has just released a statement revealing exactly who will be spearheading this statewide review into the childcare sector, and there is a familiar name. Former South Australian Premier Jay Weatherill will be at the helm after leading a campaign advocating for an overhaul of Australia's childcare system 5 years ago. Now, he'll be joined by Pamela White, who has worked across the public sector for 3 decades, including in child protection. Any recommendations will still be some time away. The report isn't due back until mid-August. Mitch?
Rochelle Brown on Spring Street, thank you.
I can't imagine just, you know, being a parent in the western suburbs of Melbourne, and now you've got to take your little baby or your little toddler off to the doctors to go get tested for gonorrhea and chlamydia. Yeah, it's so harrowing. It's so awful. So many kids too. It's 1,200 kids. It might be more. We don't know where this guy's worked because he was a casual worker. He's worked at a lot of childcares. We don't even know all the sites he's worked at yet. So you'd rather be overly cautious than regret it for the rest of your life. Yeah, 100%. Whenever you see something sus. Look, the worst thing that someone's going to do is be like, hey mate, calm down. And it's like, oh, okay, just wanted to make sure the kid was okay. Yeah, sometimes it's better to be a little bit embarrassed than like let a kid be kidnapped. So yeah, I think that's a good way to be, Zach. I think that is the way to go. All right, let's try and find something less depressing. Need a palate cleanser. I was going to talk about the mushroom lady, but I think I need like something cute, something funny. Well, yeah, that's it. Like, you wouldn't even expect you would have to do an STD test for like your partner, right? Like, you don't even expect your partner to like cheat on you or not be honest about their history with you, let alone, yeah, having to go to the GP for one of your kids. Absolutely. Ugh, absolutely heinous. Where's something funny? Cute puppies. Cute puppies. 20 minutes of adorable puppies. Funny dogs that will brighten your day. All right, let's watch this before my heart falls out.
Get him out of here! Throw him! Go! No!
He's gonna run back in. There he goes. Oh. I ever see people who don't like cats meet kittens? Yeah, I've seen some of those videos. I think people that don't like cats just haven't actually like met a cat, or they've only met like one cat that like belonged to their grandma or something that was like a really mean cat that used to scratch them. So they just think all cats are like that. But I have a cat who is like the sweetest cat ever. She's so nice. Cause like I live in a flat, so I can't, and I'm like too sick to have a dog because I like won't be able to walk it all the time because sometimes like I'm just not up to going for walks and stuff. So yeah, but having a cat is nice because, you know, you can just keep them inside and they just sleep with you, and, you know, you can play with them inside without breaking your furniture. So cats are nice.
Hey! Stop it!
Oh dear. Having two sons who both love their mum so much can be tough, huh? Hand him a cloth and your glasses will be clean both inside and out.
Do you want this pea?
you want this lemon?
Nope.
When you want to exercise but also relax, this is the solution.
I don't think that's what that dog is doing. I don't think that's what that dog is doing.
It seems today's movie isn't quite to his taste. Choosing the right and comfortable sleeping position is tough, isn't it, my friend? How can you teach anyone when you're weak in your own skill? Better keep learning. Let me play. You didn't let me play. Don't blame me.
Oh,
for this.
jeez. Yeah, cats are pretty selective with the people that they like or dislike or tolerate. They'll usually tolerate most people, but they'll like have one person, typically like one person in the family or something that they really like. It always feels really good when a cat like chooses to come hang out with you. You're like, yay, I'm the chosen one.
This is me when I hear the neighbors arguing. Can't decide which ball to play with? Just take them all.
You caught a cute Pokemon? What? Are you playing Pokemon Go or are you... What are you doing? Where are you catching Pokemon? Tell me more. I must know. 2098.
We're trying everything we can. Look at those ears. There's a cone on it. Come here, Buzz.
Alright, this treasure stealing mission is crucial. Do not wake the guard.
What do you got there, Mikey? Here, let me light that for you. Oh, good job!
Oh, Jigglypuff's my favorite Pokemon because it's a fairy and it's a balloon. That's so cute. I love Jigglypuff.
He must be excited because tonight's dinner has his favorite dish.
Aww. Why did they run into the fence? Dum-dums.
Going to grandparents' house and getting spoiled. No wonder he's this excited.
What was that noise?
Looks like there's a serious contender for the upcoming speed parkour tournament.
Is that Melbourne? Or does it just look like Melbourne?
He sure knows how to make good use of his body. When you randomly bump into your crush and he walks over to say hi. He knows sitting for too long isn't great for the back.
Yum, yum, yum.
They say musical geniuses often have a touch of madness, and it's true.
You didn't have to show me his poo.
This guy seems a bit too distracted while babysitting.
Do all dogs just have ADHD? I feel like they do. I feel like all these dogs just have ADHD. Because this is kind of like what it's like inside my brain sometimes, except I don't have the energy to get the zoomies. The dog turned into a Beyblade. Did kind of.
Whether she liked it or not, she nailed her role as the horse.
Oh!
This is definitely the cutest zoomies you'll ever see. Hey, human, do you see anything? Of course not. No cushion here.
Sandwich, sparrow, sausages, fetch.
If dinner goes missing, you know who the culprit is.
Aww.
A fangirl's reaction when she sees her idol on screen.
I used to have a cat that used to, if you put like birds on the TV, she used to talk to them and like get all excited. Super cute.
Guess what's in the nest? This guy has definitely found his favorite nap spot.
I like his snoring. Animals that snore are the cutest. When they sound like old men sleeping, that's the cutest.
Animal. Different body.
Mom, help me up onto the sofa. Stop filming. It's not funny at all.
What is that noise? Oh, the siren's setting him off.
Oh my. If you don't correct this habit soon, you'll be spending a lot on food.
Yeah, I bet he can't open it though. Yeah, what are you gonna do now, huh? How are you gonna open it? Yeah,
Not
that's
everyone
right.
can pull off this stick twirling. He's got a talent for sure. Nothing is better than winning a game and getting a ride.
Aww. Look at his little ears. Wookie, wookie, wookie. Oh, it's Halloween. Whoa, how many dogs do they have? I'm so Hey, cut it out.
Pretty effective front leg workout.
Yeah, that's not what she's doing, mate. That is not what she's doing. Who wants to be the one to tell this guy why those dogs are dragging their genitals across the ground? Because he seems to have a very innocent interpretation of this. I mean, they could just be itchy, but they could also Fight. Poodle fight. Where is this place for little fluffy boys roam the
Ask what the
streets?
best time of day is? It's definitely this moment. Anyone working early winter mornings can totally relate to him. Dogs really are comedians.
Yeah, that's not funny. I would lose my shit. The dog ate my homework. No, he actually did, because he's a dickhead. Oh. Just gonna check the link Hyperbovian sent me. Eddie the Echidna released after surviving swim from Bribey Island to the mainland. Oh, look at him. Look at him. What a spiky little boy. A juvenile echidna, which is believed to have completed an epic 1 kilometre swim in waters of Queensland's Sunshine Coast, has been released back into the wild. The female echidna, nicknamed Eddie, was returned to bushland on Wednesday afternoon after spending weeks in care. Eddie captured the imagination of residents after she was found in an exhausted state on a rock wall at Golden Beach last month. The echidna was believed to be the same one spotted a few weeks earlier, stranded on the battered tip of Bribey Island, where the island has broken through in 3 places since 2022. Eddie was released at Lighthouse Reach, about 5 kilometres south of the breakthroughs, with a location selected to give the native animal the best chance of survival. The release was coordinated by Palmerstone Passage Catchment Management Board spokesperson Jen Kettleton Butler, well, that's a name, and licensed wildlife carer Sybil Foxcroft, that's a good name, with support from the Caloundra Coast Guard. The last time I saw her, she was on her last legs. She's now looking as fit as a fiddle, Miss Kettleton Butler said. Found weak and waterlogged. Caloundra resident Dave Cairns found the echidna lying on its back against a rock wall on the 24th of May. He contacted Miss Kettleton Butler, who had previously filmed what appeared to be the same echidna during erosion inspections on Bribey Island. The animal was taken to the Australia Zoo Wildlife... Oh, that's Steve Irwin's zoo, right? I think. Is that it? I think it is. The animal was taken to the Australia Zoo Wildlife Hospital, where she was diagnosed with aspiration pneumonia, a condition linked to water inhalation. Eddie required round-the-clock care in the hospital's intensive care unit, with the spokesperson saying she had quickly stolen the hearts of everyone there. Well, it's a rare sight. Echidnas are able to swim by using their back feet to paddle and steer themselves and using their tiny snouts like a snorkel. Wildlife experts believe the animal may have been swept off the island by rising tides or could have entered the water in search of food. Aww. That's so cute. All right. Well, we talk about the Japanese submarines that came into Sydney Harbour a lot. So here's a story from 10 hours ago. Mystery of the Deep. Uncovering the lost Japanese midget sub in Sydney Harbour from the vault. In 1942, Japanese submarines attacked Sydney Harbour, shocking the nation. Decades later, the wreck of one of these midget subs remains hidden beneath the waves until now. Ooh, life is a mystery. Everyone must stand alone. I hear you call. I shouldn't sing because I can't sing. So there we go. I'm not Iron Mouse. I am just an untalented cripple. So let's go.
I'm travelling out to sea and back in time.
It's a real privilege to be on board this vessel, trying to solve the final mystery of just what happened the night that brought World War II to Australia's biggest city.
Ooh.
It will be a leap into the unknown and a revelation shedding light on one of our darkest hours. This story is as big as it gets. During the war, Sydney looked like this, bristling with warships, a city seemingly safe from attack. But circling slowly above on the 29th of May 1942 was a lone plane launched from an enemy Japanese submarine. The pilot, a veteran of Pearl Harbor, was sketching targets in preparation for a surprise
Naughty,
attack.
naughty.
His name is Susumu Ito. He's now 97 years old. Watching below that day was a fresh-faced Australian gunner, Phil Dulhunty.
I wonder when this story is from. Because it looks like it's filmed on VHS, right? It looks like it's like tape. And they've digitized it. Does it say? This story originally aired on the 14th of October 2012. Why is it such bad quality, ABC? Oh, I think they're using archival footage. Well, they obviously are using archival footage and splicing it with... Okay, some of this is better quality, I guess.
18 then, 88 years old now, he spotted Ito's plane.
How do you feel after all the water's passed?
Oh, they're gonna meet each other. They're gonna meet each other. Oh, kawaii.
Under the bridge, well, Ito went over the bridge, so I'm feeling pretty excited about meeting him now.
7 decades on, south of Hiroshima.
Take your shoes off, guys. Come on.
To tell their story. Friends now, enemies then.
You look very young. So it was. This is,
Oh, good, they did. Yay.
painting of your airplane flying over the American Chicago.
I remember.
The USS Chicago escaped the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor and 6 months later sailed into Sydney to cheering crowds. The Chicago had just made Sydney a juicier target for the...
Hey, Dango. Good to see you. How have you been? We always like to see Dango in the chat. He is an OG in this chat.
Imperial Japanese Navy.
Late in May 1942, Allied warships were filling this harbour. But talk of an attack on them wasn't taken too seriously. Few people thought the enemy could strike this far south. And if they dared to try, surely our defences would stop them in their tracks.
The confidence was misguided. The Kure naval base in Japan is still formidable today. Filming is seldom permitted. It is home to the bulk of Japan's submarine fleet, just like 1942.
That's a good flag, the Japanese flag. It's different from all other flags.
From here, 500 men on 5 massive subs were ordered to Australia. It was just before dawn when Susumu Ito was catapulted into history. As he observed the unsuspecting city below, Phil Dulhunty was on duty near Sydney Heads.
You came in through here, I think, and Garden Island. You flew over the bridge. This is at North Head where I was in an anti-aircraft, and you were up here in an aircraft at the same time.
Did you think it was an enemy plane?
No, certainly not at all. I mean, it would have been impossible for an enemy.
Yeah, you were paying attention, were you, mate? Come on. You let him slip through. Naughty, naughty.
To get all the way down here.
Right.
And I think, like everybody else, I just thought it was off one of the American cruisers that was in port. I was on the ground and you were in the air.
Armed with Ito's info, the Japanese commanders decided to strike soon and hit hard. Sydney was full of targets, but the ship they really wanted was the Chicago, and they had a smart and simple plan to beat the harbour defences.
Midget
Back in
subs.
42, I was a Sydney lad, only a couple of years old, but I have vivid childhood memories of being on a ferry and watching the anti-submarine boom nets being pulled apart to let the ferries through. And this is how the Japanese were planning to get their subs in.
Sneaky,
They'd
sneaky.
sneak in underneath the ferry, and then when the nets were opened, follow them into the harbour. And that was something that we had never thought of.
Lurking 7 nautical miles off Sydney, the mother subs went to battle stations.
They were the biggest submarines in the world at that time.
They were quite a force.
Quite a force.
Each.
See, and this is why I said the Japanese should build our subs, because they already have a history with us. And we can give them cute names. We can give them cute anime waifu names. And yeah, you know. I don't think the Yanks or the Poms should be making our submarines. I definitely think the Japanese should make our subs. That's my opinion.
Midget sub carried 2 men and 2 high-explosive torpedoes.
The evening is much like this. Calm seas, a big moon, perfectly peaceful, perfect conditions for an attack. Around 8 o'clock, beneath the Manly Ferry, the first of the midget subs slips into the harbour. It triggers an underwater detection system, but no one pays any attention. Apparently, false alarms happen all the time.
All 3 subs make it into the harbour, but very soon, one becomes entangled in an anti-submarine boom net.
Their warrior code means the men can't surrender themselves or their precious submarine, nor can they give an enemy the satisfaction of killing them. So instead, they set off demolition charges. They blow...
Oh no. They solved the Sudoku, guys. That sub solved the Sudoku. Rest in peace. Even though you were trying to attack my country. See, I've been brainwashed by anime. I'm just like, they must be good. They must be good people.
themselves up. The second sub, the M24, is prowling around the harbour, but is spotted by the crew of the Chicago. They open fire. Other warships start blasting away with everything they've got, and all hell breaks loose.
Shot at and pounded by depth charges for hours on end, the crew of the third submarine commit suicide by shooting themselves. The next morning, the sub will be found with its motor still running.
See, that's engineering. That is engineering.
And ready.
In all the noise and confusion, the crew of the M24 fire 2 torpedoes at the Chicago. The first goes right down the side of the huge warship, a narrow miss. The next goes straight down the other side of Chicago and races on across the harbour.
And sinks the HMAS Cuttable.
Struck at 12:30 a.m. Sunk is HM.
Can you guys tell that I did really well at history in high school? Like really well, like top 5 in the state. Don't like to brag, but yes. I came top 5 in the state for both modern and ancient history. Thank you. Yes, I do like to blow my own horn. Thank you for coming to my talk.
HMAS Cuttable, a ferry being used as a dormitory for sailors. 21 young men die in their sleep. The war has come to Sydney. The M24...
A lot of people apparently don't know that Darwin was bombed and, like, you know, 200 plus casualties. Like, I was talking to it about my housemate and he didn't know about it. And I was like, what? Didn't you learn that in school? He was like, no. I'm like, whoa. Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe just because I'm a nerd and I'm, like, just really into knowing the history about, like, everything I can. But, yeah, like... The Japanese, they were not our friends in World War II, guys. They were not our friends.
escapes the harbour and turns north. The mother subs shell Sydney and Newcastle as they too flee.
Yeah, they bombed Newcastle, but they didn't kill anybody when they bombed Newcastle. Only Darwin Post Office bombings World War II. The bombing of Darwin. Yeah, killed 230 people during the bombing of Darwin, guys. The bombing of Darwin, 19th of February, 1942. Darwin had been a strategic port on Australia's northern edge for decades, but only in the mid-1930s a major military build-up began. By 1942, the population had more than tripled. The military build-up prior to the Second World War triggered significant upgrades to the Stuart Highway, yada yada yada. In 1940, blah 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 blah. Where's the information? All right, don't give me the information. There weren't 230 people in the post office, but the post office is like the most significant building that was bombed. I mean, they bombed, you know, they dropped a few bombs. Just trying to find an article about it that's not shit. This attack was part of the first of almost 100 Japanese raids on mainland Australia. The bombing of Darwin in February 1942 was the first time Australian soil was attacked during World War II. The post office, along with other infrastructure like telegraph lines and residential buildings, were targeted by Japanese bombers. A direct hit on the post office resulted in the death of the postmaster, his family, and 6 female telegraphists who were sheltering in a trench. The post office bombing was part of a broader attack on Darwin, which included the bombing of Darwin Wharf, where the ammunition ship Neptuna was sunk, and the sinking of destroyer USS Perry. That was an American ship, not an Australian one. G'day. I don't know how to say your name. Lekaios? I hope I said your name correctly. I probably didn't. But welcome to the chat. In summary, the bombing of Darwin Post Office was a tragic event during the bombing of Darwin that highlighted the vulnerability of Australia to attack during World War II. I'll just put casualties, but I believe it was over 200. Yeah, killing more than 230 people. It doesn't say how many though. At least 292 people were dead or dying, according to Oz at War. So yeah, the numbers. Sable's fine. How are we doing, fellow Aussie? Yeah, we're okay. We're just cold. We're just pretty cold. I'm in Melbourne, so I'm freezing my tits off, and yeah, it's really cold. It's yeah, just whinging about the cold, basically. That's what my life is these days. This is World War II info. Yeah, we're watching a video about the Japanese submarines that went into Sydney Harbour. There was like an old man that was like a lookout at Sydney Harbour when one of the planes flew over, the Japanese planes, to like do recon, and the man that flew the plane, the Japanese man that flew the plane, and they're meeting. So the Japanese man and the little Australian man are like in their 80s, 90s, and they're meeting each other, and it's super kawaii. So we do like that. Anyway, I was just telling people about the bombing of Darwin because apparently some people don't learn that in school. So I was just telling chat about how many people died when the Japanese bombed Darwin. Even Harvey Bay is getting cold. Oh God, help us then. Where are we supposed to go if Queensland's cold? You're in Perth? It's pretty cold in Perth. If it's cold in Perth and it's cold in Queensland, what are we supposed to do?
Despite this provocation, back on land, Australia shows unprecedented decency in wartime. The 4 dead Japanese submariners are given a funeral with full military honours.
Present! Fire! Go! Present! Fire! Go! Fire! Present! Fire!
The scene is one of quiet simplicity, the occasion of the cremation of 4 brave men who have died for their country.
Their ashes are sent back to Japan. There, the fallen crewmen are proclaimed hero gods by Emperor Hirohito. Among them, their commander, Kiyu Matsuo. This is the last shot of him taken on the night of the attack. When his ashes arrived in Japan, his brother collected them. Matsuo's 3 nieces are seeing this footage for the first time. They are still touched by Australia's humanity.
You spent 4 years of high school going over the same details of World War II. You never learnt about Darwin being bombed? Really? That's insane. That's absolutely insane. No, I heard some people didn't even learn about like Australia fighting in Vietnam in high school too, which is nuts. But I went to school, primary school and high school in New South Wales. So I think maybe like the curriculum's a little bit different there. So that's maybe why I learned it. But I also did like elective history because it's like my favorite subject. So I did ancient history and modern history. And in year 11 and year 12, I also did extension history because, you know, I'm a nerd. I like it.
To be given a funeral like that in such circumstances is unheard of in the world. The fact that our uncle was one of those so honored made us very grateful. No such.
Yeah, Joey, it is really nice when other soldiers are respectful of like their enemies. You went to a Greek school for that period of time. The only details you covered were basically Gallipoli. Well, I was just going to say to Joey something about Gallipoli, actually, that we're talking about, you know, paying respect to foreign soldiers, because if you ever get the chance to go to Gallipoli in Turkey, I really recommend it. It's a beautiful memorial. The Turkish people take really good care of it. It's stunning. And there's this beautiful quote from Ataturk. I'll see if I can find it. It's really, really beautiful. Ataturk quote to Australian mothers. Ataturk is the father of modern Turkey, by the way, but he was I can't remember what position he was in the army now. If I just guess, I'll guess it wrong. So I don't want to say something wrong. So this is the quote that's attributed to Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. So this is on one of the memorials over there. Those heroes that shed their blood and lost their lives, you are now lying in the soil of a friendly country. Therefore rest in peace. You, the mothers who sent their sons from faraway countries, wipe away your tears. Your sons are now lying in our bosom and are at peace. After having lost their lives on this land, they have become our sons as well. According to the Turkish Consulate General in Sydney, this message was reportedly conveyed in 1934 and is inscribed on the Kemal Ataturk Memorial in Anzac Parade, Canberra. Anyway, I thought, like, that's really beautiful. I thought that's like a really, really nice sentiment. I've seen it in Turkey as well. But yeah, like if you go to Gallipoli, they kind of do it by country. So they'll have all the palms. You can just walk straight past there. That's what I did. I went and paid my respects to the Australian and the New Zealanders because yeah, they kind of used us as cannon fodder. So I don't really feel the need to pay my respect to the palms. But I went, you know, gave my respects to the Aussies and our little brothers next door in New Zealand. Said g'day to them as well. Keeping up pace, Panda? What am I keeping up pace with? I don't know. I never know if you're being nice to me or not, Hyperbovian. It's too hard to know. Anyway, yeah, it is. It is really past the walk past the UK Memorial. Yeah, you know, I only had a certain amount of time to spend at Gallipoli Cove, right? I had to get a move on. Don't have time. Well, there's so many names there, right? So many people lost their lives there. And I wanted to actually like read all the names of all the people that died and really reflect on it. And you know what? I am Australian, so, you know, it's where my loyalties lie. Anyway, I think this is really lovely, you know, these enemy combatants, you know, meeting after the war. I think it's really heartwarming. Yeah, World War II seems, obviously it was way before any of us were born, but yeah, it just seems like another world, right? Because if we think about like our relations with especially Japan now, and like how we see them as like a close trading partner and a friend, and we see them as like very culturally relevant. So many people are into like anime, and Japanese culture is like so pervasive and so popular. It's just insane that, like, you know, the late 30s through to mid 40s, like we were literally like at war with these people. Absolutely insane.
Such case is found either in Japanese history or in world history. I'm more than grateful. I feel honored. I can't thank you enough.
Aww, look at his little hat.
He went on to be a successful businessman selling office supplies. Phil Dulhunty also found success in business and went on to fly seaplanes as his hobby.
Oh.
A necktie for Seaplane Pilot Association and you are honorary member of Australian Seaplane.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I do now. He's Australian.
But one mystery remains. 54 meters below the waves, a 70-year-old secret is about to be solved.
We're down to 45 meters now. Wow, we're getting very close.
"54 meters below the sea."
Pretty exciting moment, really.
Yes, and it just suddenly pops into view.
This is the eureka moment.
Oh, they found the sub.
Inside the midget sub M24. The first look in 70 years.
Wow. Look at all the fishies.
Permission to dive has been sought and granted from Canberra and Tokyo. Such is the significance of what is happening here.
How long? 10 minutes?
See, I love that respect to get permission from the Australian and the Japanese governments to, you know, go and do some reconnaissance. And it's strange to think Italy, Japan, and Germany were the Axis powers. It is insane. It is definitely insane. But I mean, we're definitely going to see some even stranger alliances form this century. Like, we're already on that way. They're like, when America loses its relevance, loses, you know, its position as a singular superpower, we're definitely going to see some strange bedfellows emerge, I reckon. It's going to be interesting time to be alive. Maybe not interesting in the good way. You know, I would rather live in boring times, but I think the trajectory of the world right now is, yeah. Maybe not live in interesting times, I guess.
This is a detective story. It has been from day one. What happened to the crew? What was their fate? What were they going through at this place in 1942?
Marine archaeologist Tim Smith is the guardian of the site. The dive team has specialized equipment and has waited 3 months for the right conditions. On a perfect spring day, they descend.
We're on our way down.
5 meters, 10 meters, 15 meters, and deeper they go.
And we're down at 45 metres now, so we're getting...
Wow, we're getting very close to it.
Then, the M24.
Wow.
Lodged in the seabed, its conning tower unmistakable. Eerie. This war machine, now a sanctuary for fish. One of the midget subs recovered from the night of the attack shows exactly how the M24 looked inside. Cramped, claustrophobic, and designed to kill. This is how the M24 looks now. Time and the sea have worn so much of it away. Our camera goes inside the torpedo tubes. Empty. The deadly...
I think this might have been the one that they found off Manly. I know they found one like on the northern beaches. I don't know if it's this one. Let me Google. Japanese midget sub Manly. No. Wasn't Manly. Northern Beaches, maybe? Northern Beaches. Found. Oh, it was found in 2006. In November 2006, the remains of a Japanese midget submarine, specifically the M24, yeah, this is the one they're looking at now, were discovered off Sydney's northern beaches near Newport. I think I just said Manly because that's what I think of when I think about the northern beaches. I'm like, it's all the same place. Near Newport, about 3 miles offshore in over 50 meters of water. The discovery was made by recreational scuba divers from the No Frills Divers Club. You think the distance helped the Axis powers establish alliance? Well, I think, yeah, they covered a good proportion of the globe with those places. Italy had the Mediterranean, obviously heaps close to the Middle East. Germany's Central Europe, so they're really close to everybody. And then obviously Japan's very close to Korea, to China, to Russia. So yeah, you've got basically everything covered. And Japan's really well close. Like they managed to get to us. So, you know, they basically had it covered. I mean, the Germans were even going down to Antarctica. Like, there's some conspiracy theories there, guys. Whoa, aliens, the Illuminati, the whole shebang.
Payload that sunk the HMAS Cuttable was launched from here.
Oh.
So you're inside, just coming into the control room space now.
Wow.
Here, on the right, is the periscope through which they would have glimpsed Sydney. But what Tim Smith is keen to see is the sub's ladder, the clue that will solve the mystery. Did the two crew, Ban and Ashibe, escape from the sub or die in it?
You see, what you can see there, that's the ladder.
Yes,
which was their only escape out of the submarine. But interestingly, it's up in the stowed position, up in the chute.
Well, Sable, we don't know that the government isn't run by the lizard people. It might be run by like the lizard people, you know, in conjunction with the Illuminati, or the Illuminati are the lizard people. We're not entirely sure, but you know, apparently there's like all these different types of like species of aliens working with humanity, and I don't know, it's a whole thing. I don't know. David Icke is banned from YouTube, guys, so we will never know now. He takes his secrets with him, guys. We'll never know the truth.
Right.
That means they haven't got out, or haven't attempted to get out, because they had to pull that down to get enough leg room to climb out of the conning tower space.
I was gonna say in conjunction with the reverse vampires, but then I've met people that have never watched The Simpsons, so I didn't say that because I'm like, oh. And then I was gonna say we're through the looking glass people, but yeah, people don't get that reference anymore. Because I've quoted The Simpsons to some people. I think they're like Generation Alpha or something, and they just like look at me and blink like I'm a crazy lady. And I'm like, well, why aren't your parents making you watch The Simpsons? Yeah, get help. Get help, guys.
There's not much doubt now that what we're looking at is the last resting place of two extraordinarily brave young men. It's a piece of history.
And so, one mystery solved leads us to another. Why, after fleeing this far, did the sub and its men come to rest here, forevermore, a war grave? This very first look inside the M24 will probably also be the last.
Yeah, it is just like best to just leave it there. You know, we know what happened. The Japanese know what happened, and they can tell if there's any, you know, surviving family members, they can tell them. It's yeah, it is just better to leave it there. And yeah, I don't have anything profound more to add to that, I guess. More depressing news, man. The news is so depressing. I am just going to take a quick break just to grab another drink and all that jazz. But I will be back in probably 3 or 4 minutes, so not very long. I'll see you guys really soon. we're back. So I have a follow. What happened? I heard, because I went to the kitchen with my headphones on and I heard a noise. I was like, you wonder if this is being multi-streamed? It is in fact being multi-streamed to the council. It is. I got a follow from Sable followed me on Twitch. Activity feed. Why isn't my activity feed working? It is you from YouTube. Well, thank you for crossing over to the other side. More views for me. We like it. And we've got the council. Oh God, you can tell I'm from Western Sydney when I say council. We've got the council here. I'm bringing the council. Do you ever like have that one lady on your street that's like always threatening to call the council? I'm gonna call the council on yous if you don't stop making that noise. Do you ever have that lady? Is that just a Western Sydney thing? I don't know. But yeah, I can't say Oh, the Aussie Karen? Yeah. But she's like obsessed with the council. She's like got them on speed dial to like, you know, to dub on people for like, I don't know, putting their bins out wrong, making too much noise, not mowing their grass properly. She goes, your grandma? Aw, bless your grandma. Ochre Karen? Yeah, they're usually pretty ochre. Although, someone in the chat the other day told me that I was well-spoken. I can't remember how they worded it, but they said that I spoke in a really proper way. And I was like, well, that is the first time I have ever been told that in my life. So thank you. It definitely was a first for me. I usually get told the opposite. So it's like, thank you. Listening to medium level music, Kay. Yeah. Yeah, usually it's just people going about their normal lives. I think like a lot of those people are just really lonely and they see other people just like having a nice normal life, just listening to music, having people over for a barbie, you know, having their mates over, and I don't know, probably makes them feel more isolated. I invited this little old man that lived next door to me when I lived in Sydney. I invited him over for a barbecue and he was really sweet and he was really fun. We gave him a few beers and he was telling us heaps of good stories. We're like, yeah, this dude's cool. All right, well, we're gonna watch A Fox and Friends. We don't usually support Rupert Murdoch on this stream. We don't usually give him views, but I was just looking for content, so the Pentagon reveals brand new details on the status of the Iran nuclear program. If anyone's wondering why this stream is all over the place with like what I watch, it's because I have like major ADHD and like just like to learn about different stuff. So you just have to go with it sometimes, guys. All right. My brain is an interesting place and you will learn to like it here. Okay.
All right, the Pentagon announcing a brand new detail on the damage that has been done in Iran's nuclear program after the historic strikes targeting their facilities last week.
Our assessment of the battle damage around Fordow, Nantes, and Isfahan remains unchanged.
Assessments by this department think it's been degraded or delayed by 1 to 2 years?
I think we're thinking probably closer to 2 years. We believe that Iran's nuclear capability has been severely degraded, perhaps even their ambition to build a bomb.
Yeah, former Secretary of State for George W. Bush and former Naval Intel Officer Robert Charles joins me now.
Whoa, this old mate's I'm in the way, but look how red he is. He has been enjoying, I think, like the Florida sun. Maybe I was going to say maybe he's been in Australia, but it's winter here. I'm wearing an hoodie right now. And I forgot it was winter. But yeah, he's either been on the piss and he's got like that flushing that some people get from alcohol, or he is burnt to a crisp. You have to learn to slip, slop, slap, mate, okay? Melanoma, 1 in 3 people get skin cancer. It's serious, guys. It's serious out there.
Robert, when we look at this, it's obviously this discrepancy over how bad it's broken there at the facility was enough.
An hoodie? Yeah, I got a Pikachu hoodie. I'm wearing a Pikachu hoodie over my clothes.
For the Pentagon to come out and do a press release to answer questions with the Secretary of Defense and Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. I spoke to some Israeli defense officials off the record, and they said, listen, it's much less about how destructive it was and much more about the message it sent. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a general sense, this is what leadership and deterrence and success look like. You know, we really are in a position now when Iran and its leadership, its mullahs, need to come to their senses. They have been severely damaged. Obviously, the program is not in a position now to present a threat to Israel, to Europe, or to the United States, obviously for years. And I think what they'll do is they'll get underneath that rubble heap and they'll try to figure out if there's any of their enriched uranium left, and then they'll come to some internal decision about whether they want to still pretend they're going to go after a nuclear weapon. I think the resolve that President Trump showed, the resolve that Israel showed, is something that is unprecedented, at least in terms of stopping a nuclear program. We had negotiated years ago with Libya. We had other countries that were dissuaded. This isn't Iran. This isn't.
They negotiated with Libya, guys. That was what they did with Libya. We all know what happened to Gaddafi. That is not called negotiation. Not like, let us not forget Hillary Clinton's, we came, we saw, he died. Doing her evil little laughter. Like, I don't know if I can say this on the internet, but Gaddafi's death was live streamed and bayonets were put into one of his orifices, the one that the sun doesn't shine in, if you catch my drift. That's how Gaddafi died. But no, they were negotiating with Libya, guys. They were negotiating with Libya. Okay, cool. Maybe that's what happens when you cop too much UV, guys. I don't know, but that's an interesting wording.
Country. They are not in the business of making peace. They're in the business of spreading their Islamic radical ideas. And I think what we see out of this right now is an opportunity for Iran to join the community of nations and decide they're not going to be or aspire to be a nuclear power. If they don't do that, they will be hit again and again and again until either their leadership disappears, climbs on a plane to Russia, or ultimately they come to the conclusion that it's not in their best interest to keep pursuing this.
Do you think that was a dig at al-Assad? Because apparently Bashar al-Assad and his wife are in Russia. Edward Snowden's in Russia as well. He was a whistleblower who let us all know that the NSA is spying on all of us. So yeah, people be going to Russia. But I think that was a dig. I think that was a dig at Bashar al-Assad. After Syria fell, he apparently escaped, and he's apparently, PRISM, that's 100% correct, Hyperbovian. The operation was called PRISM, and Edward Snowden told us all that that we were being spied on, and now he has to live in Russia forever. But I think he's got a really hot girlfriend / wife, so I think he's okay. I think he's doing all right. Yeah, Russia is a beautiful country with beautiful, it's got, I would love to go. I would love to be able to, if the world wasn't in the place where it is now, I would love to go visit Russia. I have been there before, but it was only for a few days. It's really hard to get a visa to go to Russia, really, really hard. And you definitely can't do it now. But yeah. I mean, I am Russian, ethnically I am Russian. I look very Russian. People always ask me if I'm Russian. Well, people ask me if I'm everything. Whenever I'm in Europe, people just start speaking their language at me and I'm like, huh? What? I'm not I'm not one of you, but I look like I'm something. People know I'm not an Anglo when they look at me, that's for sure.
I will say, as an aside, you've got a parallel situation going on with Hamas, where really Iran was the backer of Hamas, as they are of Hezbollah and a number of other terrorist organizations, and every single one of these organizations are right now on their back. So I think it's a very important moment in world history where resolve is showing that you can change the entire picture very quickly.
Yeah, it certainly helps to be decisive, and taking action the way President Trump has really has been something to see as someone who fought for.
Hyperbovian is a Russian avoiding conscription by going to Turkey confirmed. We got you. We got you. We got you. You're so uninformed. You have no idea what's going on beyond the bombings. That's okay. It's look, I am a nerd. I like to absorb all of these facts. It's fine. But mostly we just make a lot of jokes about stuff around here. You know, we try not to, obviously some things are incredibly serious and we give them the respect that they deserve. But when we can make a little bit of a joke, you know, we are Australian. We do like to take the piss. We do like to have a good time. Yeah. So it's all right not to know all the context. You can still get some of the jokes. Yeah, I was just talking about two of the leaders in the Middle East that the Americans have, you know, in the last 10 years gotten rid of, which is Gaddafi in Libya. He was the president of Libya, and Bashar al-Assad, who was the president of Syria. They've both been deposed by the American government in like the last little while, last 10 years or so. So I was just commenting on that, but it's not like super important to what we're talking about. It's just sort of peripheral stuff.
10 of those 20 years in Iraq and Afghanistan. Robert, thanks for joining us.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews.
It sounded like one of those guys said, like, I'm Greg, kill me. Did anyone else hear that? Did it sound like you said, like, I hate my life. I don't want to be here. Please end it. Please end it all. Australian VTuber, if not making jokes, then are they really Australian? Nah. If you can't, if you know you can tell if somebody is not Australian, number one, because only Australians can do Australian accents. So, number one. That's the number one tell. But if you pay someone out and they don't laugh and make another joke back, then you know they're not Australian, because, yeah, like, it's just really obvious. Because you're not making it through even primary school in Australia if you can't pay people out and get paid out back and just laugh at it. Like, it's not how it works. We're very easy to pick out. Well, yeah, we 100% are. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we like the bats. We do. Well, let's check in with the mushroom lady. Let's see what's going on. I think the jury are still just deliberating. Did she kill her family? Didn't she kill her family? Singaporeans have nice Aussie accents too. Yeah, like I definitely hear the Australian. About half of us drop a C word every 10 seconds. Well, I am very guilty of that. I am very, very guilty of that. I've been trying to rein it back. I've been trying to say see you in the Northern Territory rather than saying that, just because, you know, I'm trying to grow my channels and I'm trying to, you know, grow my streams. So I'm trying to be a little bit, yeah, a little bit ladylike, which is a little bit hard for me. But, yeah, we're doing our best, guys. It's hard out there. Mushroom lady, mushroom lady.
mushroom murder trial now. Let's get the latest from Mike Amor and our court reporter Estelle Grieping. Mike, this could soon be the longest week of the trial so far.
Hello again, Karina. We still haven't officially heard that the jury has retired for the day, but we just saw Crown Prosecutor Nanette Rogers walk past us, so that may be an indication that that's happened. But you're right, for the first 9 weeks of this trial, the jury has not sat a full Friday. That could change tomorrow. In fact, Estelle, they have potentially 2 more days if they need it.
Yes, Mike, so like you say, they normally have a half day on a Friday, or they've actually had a couple of Fridays off. You know, the judge has given them a long weekend here or there. Understandably, as this has been a very...
She is the mushroom lady. You've all been tricked. She is the mushroom lady. I have exposed her. She's the mushroom lady. You were reading today the algorithm checks all the transcripts. Yeah, I'm trying to be on my best behavior. Instead of saying like, see you next Tuesday or something, I'm just going to say, see you in the Northern Territory. Because that is the best tourism. That is the best tourism ad I've ever seen. Because only in Australia could you get away with having that. In any other country, people would whinge, oh, my children saw a bumper sticker that said, you know, CUNT on it. They would be upset, but not us. We're like, oh, that's so funny. All you know about Australians is spiders and the most insane trash talk of all time with the biggest smiles. Yeah. No, we love it. We love it. The more creative you are with like being mean to us, the meanest that we are is to like our best friends. And if we like pat you on the back and go, all right, champ, that means we hate you. But if we're just like swearing at you and like calling you the meanest things we can think of and then laughing, that means we love you. So, well, not always. It could, you know, you have to read the vibes a little bit. Yeah, we like a good passive aggressive champ. All right there, champ. That's a slur. It is a slur. I like spiders though. I don't mind them. Like I don't mind having like a huntsman in the kitchen or something. You know, they're harmless. If it's a funnel web or something like that, yeah, then, you know, I'll probably take some action. But if it's nothing, you know, too venomous, we just let them chill. Let them chill. They're just doing their thing. They're just little guys trying to survive in the world. You know, it's hard out there for a spider.
very long trial already, but tomorrow will be the first day that they can sit for a full Friday, and then they'll be sequestered, and if we still don't have a verdict by tomorrow, they can sit on Saturday as well. So we'll have to see how it goes, but potentially the deliberations could get us into week 11 of this trial.
And Estelle, the judge can technically call the jury in and ask them whether they can reach a verdict. We're not there yet though.
I don't think we're there yet, but in my experience covering courts, it can get to a point where juries have sat for a while that a judge might say, can you come in and can I assist you with anything? Are there any questions I can help you with? So potentially that could be something that happens here, but I think we're a bit early on. We're only on day 4 of deliberations. And I know as well that during his final charge to the jury, the judge said, if you do come in for a question, if you press that buzzer and want to speak to me, just make sure you don't tell me the state of play. I don't want to know how many of you are leaning towards guilty or not guilty. I just want to know the question and I'll see if I can assist you. So we'll have to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of anticipation around this trial, but given it is a murder trial, this is not unusual. This is not an unusual amount of time for a jury to...
Well, if you saw the brief of evidence that these guys would have, just from how many reports and how much expert testimony there was, these guys are going to have binders and binders and binders and binders of evidence to go over, because every single one of the professionals that gave evidence during the trial would have written a substantial report with appendices. There's obviously the brief of evidence from the police investigation, which if you've ever seen one of those, like the brief of evidence that is prepared when charges are pressed and that's passed along to the Department of Public Prosecutions is always really, really big. These guys, they've got so much evidence to look at, and they're just random people on the electoral roll, right? That's how you get selected for jury duty. If you are registered to vote, you can get asked to sit on a jury, and yeah, and you don't know any of this stuff from a bar of soap, and now you've got to sit in this room and go through it all and work it all out, and sounds super fun, guys. I'm glad it's not me, because I don't have the attention span for that. I would just be doom scrolling on Instagram. Are you guys talking about So I'm a Spider, so what? So I'm a spider, so what? They're really going hard with the I got reincarnated into a vending machine. I got izakai'd to freaking, I don't know, wherever. They're definitely getting creative on the anime front.
Be retired.
No, it's not. And I have covered quite a few Supreme Court murder trials. I would say that we probably still are in the early days. And when you consider all the evidence in this case, and there are actually 4 unique charges, I think, you know, we've just got to wait and see.
And wait, we will. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, Karina.
Okay, Mike and Estelle, thank you so much.
We're probably gonna talk about anime. We're probably gonna talk about anime in the future, like talk about different animes that I've watched and what I think about them, and like do reviews and have chats and stuff. But when we've built up the audience a little bit more, then we can kind of have a bit more of a conversation about it. But yeah, right now we'll yeah, we'll get there eventually. It'll all work out in the end if we believe in ourselves. All right, well, this is depressing, but this is Al Jazeera, and it's about aid distribution sites in Gaza being used as a sham to terrorize and kill Palestinian civilians. So we'll watch this, and then we'll either find something cute to watch, or we might play a little bit of GeoGuessr, because it is past 11 o'clock and I have to go to work tomorrow, and I don't want to, because I don't like it. I don't like it. I buy lottery tickets every week and I don't win. When am I going to win Powerball? When am I going to win Lotto? I don't know, but it better be soon, because this working shit is not for me, okay? Yeah, working sucks. Alright, well, this isn't gonna be a happy one. You did your tax yesterday. Oh yeah, it is that time of year. It is that time of year. I gotta get my group certificate and do all of that, but it's 6 a.m. for you, Council. Where are you? Whereabouts in the world are you? I don't know where it's 6 a.m. I have no idea. Not enough to retire and be a VTuber forever. Well, I've only been VTubing for 6 weeks, so, you know, I'm just doing my best, trying to build up an audience, trying to make interesting content, trying to, yeah, get used to it and get better at streaming. I've definitely got a lot better over the last few weeks, so we're just, you know, we're doing our best, seeing what we can do. You're American. Oh, whereabouts in America are you? I have a cousin that lives in America. She was married to an American guy, but they got divorced. But I don't know. She didn't come home. She stayed there, so I don't know. I would come home. I would miss Australia too much.
Well, Palestinians have taken huge risks, hoping to receive just a small amount of food. Videos from the controversial Gaza Humanitarian Foundation show the...
My cousin's in Portland. My cousin lives in Portland, Oregon. I think she only just moved there, though. She used to live in Alaska, I think, or something like that. And then before that, I think she lived in Minnesota. I don't know. I think those are all cold places. You want to see Australia? Australia is definitely very unique and very interesting. Yeah, I love it. I love it here. I even just miss the sound of Australian birds when I'm overseas. I'm like, oh, I would just listen to Australian bird calls. I'm like, oh, I'm homesick. I'm just going to lie here and listen to some kookaburras, some magpies warbling. The sounds of Australia. Portland is getting bad. Yeah, I've never been there. Yeah, no idea, but she's there, so I don't know. I haven't actually spoken to her in a while. I was talking to my auntie a while ago, so she came up and I just asked how she was, to be polite. She used to bully me when we were kids, so I was the only grandchild that wasn't blonde. So they used to pick on me for having black hair. I don't know.
Contents of the boxes that are being distributed to starving Palestinians. They include...
Hang on, I'll just answer your question before I get into the video, because it's a serious video. Someone who wants to become a VTuber, is it worth it? It's a grind. It's definitely a grind. Like, for the first maybe 4 weeks, you'll probably just be talking to nobody. And obviously, like, it is really oversaturated as well. Like, there are a lot of VTubers, a lot of people, are giving it a crack now. It's definitely harder to break through. Like, it definitely would have been a lot easier, to start VTubing like 5-6 years ago. That would have been ideal, but yeah, I mean, if you're prepared to sort of just grind away at it, you can start building an audience. Like, I've already got, a decent amount of followers, and I usually get like 5 or 6 people in chat now, which is really good. I feel like it's really good. I feel like it's a lot of progress. But yeah, I think if you enjoy it and you want to grind away at it, well, yeah, for me, it's the privacy aspect, right? Because my friends have been telling me to like get a Twitch account and stream for ages, but I don't want to because of the work that I do. Because they're like, oh, you're cute and you're funny, like people will watch you. And I'm like, well, I don't want that. Like, I'll make a VTuber that looks vaguely like me, but like anime. And I'll do that, because even just having opinions on the internet, like, I'm a social worker, so the work that I do is kind of somewhat political anyway, but because I work in the welfare sector, I've worked in child protection, I've worked in sexual assault, I've worked in homelessness, like all of these things are somewhat, by their very nature political. But yeah, you just have to be so careful these days with your job, like I don't have social media, I don't have any of these things, because you just worry. Like, you hear all these stories about like people losing their jobs over an opinion, and it's like, it's very scary out there. And sure, if you can quit your job and do Twitch or do YouTube or whatever full time, but it takes a long time to get to that point, right? Like, it takes a long time. So yeah, it's it's a grind. The witch hunting on the internet has been bad lately. Well, yeah, and it's both sides doing it, The left accuses the right of it and the right accuses the left of it, but they're both doing it. Like, I don't know, I will never go after somebody's livelihood. I will never go after somebody's way that they use to feed themselves or feed their families if they have families. Like, I just won't go after someone's employment, but there are a lot of people that you could just say something pretty benign, pretty milquetoast, and they will still just come for you, They're like rabid dogs. And so it's like, don't give people a little, like, an inch, because they'll just take a mile. Yeah, that's, sorry for just bumbling on for a bit, but yeah, that's my advice. If you want to grind away at it, like, it does take a long time to build an audience. 100%. And when you're streaming and like you're just talking, it's so easy to actually misspeak. It's so actually to accidentally use the wrong word, or for somebody to word something in a way that's, you know, uncharitable people will interpret in a bad way. And so you have to be really careful, because you can say something and people, and you'll mean it to mean a very specific thing, but people will interpret it in a way that you didn't mean, take it out of context. It's a whole thing. It's like, oh God. Like when I was playing the crossword. Yeah. Oh dear. Well, we won't talk about that. That was not my shining moment.
Well, Palestinians have taken huge risks, hoping to receive just a small amount of food. Videos from the controversial Gaza Humanitarian Foundation show the contents of the boxes that are being distributed to starving Palestinians. They include canned goods like beans and vegetables, bottled items like vine leaves and flour, pasta, oil, biscuits and tea. Aid experts say what people in Gaza desperately need is nutritious food that is ready to eat, because, of course, there is scarcity of water and fuel to cook these supplies, and that puts people at even greater risk. Experts also say when aid is delivered by recognized organizations, the people who receive it are registered, advised and monitored for malnutrition to make sure the vital food support reaches those that are most vulnerable. But that, of course, is not happening in Gaza.
Well, it's so interesting, right? Because like there are self-heating MREs and things like this, and so many people have donated money to Palestinian aid, right? And the thing is, Israel's just not allowing it in. But they could 100%, like, we know that there's these, we know just from our military, the meals that our military have, like stuff that has a shelf life of 20 years. But have you guys seen like those self-heating, like, emergency meals they have now? They could 100% be distributing stuff like that. But they're giving out rice and grape leaves and stuff like that. Like what are you going to do with that? Like, I know that's what's eaten in the Mediterranean, but you have to be able to cook rice. You have to have a flame. You have to have water to cook rice. Like, it's all great to have, you know, your rice stuffed grape leaves, but you got to be able to make it. You can't just shove some raw rice in there. It's not really going to work. You're going to lurk and wind yourself down for bed. Yeah, I'm really tired too. Hey, I might call the stream after this video. But it was really nice to meet you. And we hope you come back.
Let's speak now to Dr. Mads Gilbert. He's an emergency medicine doctor who has provided healthcare in Gaza for over 30 years. He joins us from Tromsø in Norway. Thank you so much for your time. The GHF was brought in by the Israelis and the Americans despite the fact there was already a well-established, experienced system of UN aid provision in place in Gaza. In your view, as more footage emerges like the one from the Associated Press, does it begin to look like this was a definitive plan to militarize aid, to use as a means of causing chaos and murdering Palestinians?
Absolutely, 100%. This is part of the Israeli occupation forces and the Israeli government plan to ethnically cleanse and to fulfill their...
What did I say verbatim the other day? What did I say verbatim the other day? Exactly this. Exactly this. I don't want it to be true, but it's pretty obvious that that's what's happening.
Goal of genocide in Gaza. This has nothing to do with alleviating the starvation in Gaza. Two important points. Number one, the parcels, the food parcels, are grossly inadequate to provide the needed calories and the content needed to feed the people of Gaza. But more importantly, number two, the structure of these 4 distribution points are completely in line with the Israeli military objectives to control, to eliminate, and to scare the Palestinian population. The first point. the inadequacy of the content. There is no dairy or eggs in the parcels, neither in physical form or in powdered form. There is no infant formula desperately needed by the newborns and the children.
Well, yeah, how are mothers supposed to produce breast milk when they're dehydrated, when they haven't been eating? They 100% need baby formula. They 100% need water to mix the baby formula. Like, this is, yeah. Like, Gaza has such a high child population, like people under 18. It's very substantial. It's very statistically relevant.
And there are no added vitamins or minerals in the content of food. And the important point, of course, it needs cooking, and there are almost no cooking facilities available in Gaza. They only contain 7.
Yeah, you need to cook rice and you need water. Like, rice takes, it's a 1-for-1. You use your knuckle when when you put your rice in, and then you use your knuckle and fill it up. It's like a 1-1-1 ratio of rice and water. You need water to cook your rice. Like, you just do.
1,750 kilocalories per parcel versus the basic recommended need by WHO, which is 2,500. So the food content by itself is not sufficient, and it is way below what the UNRWA system provided before it was broken. The second point, however, the structure of the 4 distribution points was just recently on the 1st of June reported in a report by an associate Israeli professor, Yaakov Garb, who reports that in conclusion, the consistent internal architecture all suggests that the design of the 4 distribution points is predominantly responsive to Israeli military strategy and tactics rather than aimed at a broad humanitarian relief intervention, unquote. He has been analyzing satellite footage, and he has been able to document that the architecture of each of the 4 distribution points is intended to control, to create fear, and to enable killing of starvation.
Well, they're literally corralling people in there like cattle. And I've seen footage of them using literally using cattle pens. Like, yeah, for what they're doing. Nothing gets people, starving people, to gather in a place more effectively than the temptation of like food. They're not even giving them anything of any sustenance, of any nutritional value. And they're using it as a pretext to gather these people so they can mow them down. Like, to say disgusting behavior, I know that's like my catchphrase, but it doesn't even come close.
Starving people coming to the 4 distribution points, and notably, there is no distribution point north of the Netzarim corridor, which means that the 1 million or so people in Gaza City and around have no access to these distribution points. So this is clearly part of the genocidal intent of the Israeli government, and it needs to be completely condemned, but not only condemned verbally, it needs to be stopped by.
I know it is disgusting behavior, Hyperbovian, but I mean, like, the phrase disgusting behavior doesn't even come close to, like, encapsulating what is happening. It's just like actual words are kind of inadequate at this point, because it's insane.
Forceful actions of the Western governments who so far have been supporting these systematic attacks on the basic human rights of the Palestinian people in Gaza.
Okay, Dr. Mads, a point that the GHF will come back to you on is they will say that they have delivered more than 52 million meals in 5 weeks, while other aid organizations stand by helplessly as their aid is looted. How does that defense stack up?
Well, like the other lies from the Israeli occupation forces, the Israeli government, and this GAF is only a subsidiary of the Israeli occupation of Gaza. It has nothing to do with international relief organizations or the principles of international relief. They may brag as much as they like, but it still comes down to lying. And as I said, the content of these boxes are grossly insufficient. The distribution organization is aimed at using food as a bait to attract starving people, to terrorize them.
That's, yeah, that's what that was my observation when we were watching the video the other day about this. That was my observation, that they were using the food as bait, as a pretext to get these people to gather, concentrated, if you will, concentrate these people in a mass so they can do the job that they want to do, which is to ethnically cleanse Gaza of its population, and then Israel can just come along and annex it, and voila, now Israel is a bigger country, and then they'll move on to the West Bank. Mark my words.
And then to kill them.
Okay.
And the shooting of people in food lineup is a war crime that I don't think we have seen before.
Dr. Mads, I just want to go into more detail on the content of these boxes. You already mentioned they don't contain any infant formula. There are no hygiene products, no protein or limited protein sources and fresh items, fresh food. From a nutritional point of view, what sort of impact is this going to have on people long term?
Well, we see it on the video clips. We see that people are fighting desperately to get the boxes. They are aimed at feeding 5.5 people for 3.5 days. What is that for a starving population, a man-made starving population of 2.1 million people? It's nothing. It's a drip in the ocean. And the General Secretary of the UN just recently stated that the UN systems have the equivalent of 9,000.
It is, Joey, you're 100% right. It 100% is very reminiscent of what Germany did in World War II. And it's interesting that the descendants of the people that had those horrors of World War II perpetrated against them, their descendants are now perpetrating things akin to that on another population of people, but like to use what happened to them in World War II as a cudgel, as an excuse. Well, you can't criticize anything that I did because in the 1940s this happened to my grandpa. It's like, well, no, that's not how it's going to play. You don't get to do the same thing because it happened to you. Like, that's not how life works. It's not how life works.
Truckloads of food, water, medical supplies, and hygiene products ready to enter Gaza. So this is nothing but a sham operation in order to increase the pressure of on the Palestinian population in order to have them surrender. They will not surrender. They would rather die than to live in this indignity that the combination of starvation, lack of...
Wait, I think Hyperbovian sent me one of my shorts from the other day. This is what I said. This is what I said. I don't know when I said it. Maybe 2 or 3 days ago, 4 days ago.
Any operation that channels desperate civilians into militarized zones is inherently unsafe.
Yeah, but that's why they're doing it. They're hurting the people in there because it's the only place they can go to get food. They're starving. And then they're mowing people down. They're using their aid as a pretext to get people in there. They were literally herding people into cattle pens.
Any operation that channels desperate...
Yep, that's what I said. I don't know when I said that. Can I see the date? Where's the date? Nope. Description. Yeah, I think that was posted yesterday, but some smart Norwegian man had the same opinion as me, so nice to know I am barking up the right tree, guys. They are being hypocrites. They 100% are being hypocrites.
Habitat, living in a tent and having tens to hundreds killed every day. So I think it's time now to understand that what was the moral black stain on the last century, the horrible Nazi Holocaust of the Jewish people. For this century, it is the Zionist horrible genocide going on in the concentration camp of Gaza in full daylight with the coverage of the cameras. I mean, all of this is so systematic, aimed at getting rid of the Palestinian population. It will be the great moral stain on our century.
It will be.
Dr. Mads Gilbert, emergency medicine doctor and professor of healthcare in Gaza for 30 years. Thank you.
Wow, that's a doctor. That's a doctor that goes into war zones and third world countries to help people. Like, that is the type of band that I actually really admire. You know, I know our very like superficial society tells us to look up to, like, you know, these entrepreneurs, these billionaires, these tech billionaires, celebrities, influencers, all of these people. But somebody like that, yeah, I can't really say it any better than how he put it. But yeah, people like that are so inspirational to me. So much more, you know, people that you should look up to instead of, like, I don't know, musicians, actors, whatever. All these people, you can admire their art, but like, what do they actually do for society? Look at somebody like that. Amazing. Amazing behavior. We like it. Admirable behavior. We like to see it. Well, yeah. It's not a... Instead of Ludwig spiking his mate. Oh, don't get me started on that, God. With friends like him. How to not take accountability. A tutorial from Ludwig. I shouldn't say that because they can get small streamers just banned from Twitch. And I have been working on my channel and I don't want to lose it. So, yeah. But thanks for hanging out, guys. I have a sore throat. I have been talking for so long. I'm gonna have to buy some soothers from the servo before I go to bed. Yeah. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. See you guys in